Hey, everybody, I was going to go on later in the morning, but I decided because of a lopsided day, I go on now and do this in video form, thus making it a video and blog. Hope you're all well and during these, as it's popular to say, crazy times. I'm going to read to you the blog that I created, which is at Oakland News Now, and it's here. And as you can see, but I'm not going to read the tiny little screen over there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read it off to the side here and go. It says, in Gus Bradley, Raiders say Jon Gruden hiring another friend. Affirmative action for white coaches. When former San Diego Chargers defensive coordinator Gus Bradley was announced as the former Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders defensive coordinator, the Las Vegas Raiders wrote this on the organization's main website. Quote, Gus Bradley and Jon Gruden go way back. Since Coach Gruden rejoined the Raiders in 2018, he has hired many of his former assistants he comes in contact with during his days in the NFC South. Gus Bradley is another case of Gruden going for what he knows. Bradley was hired by Jon Gruden in 2006 to be the defensive quality control coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was promoted to linebackers coach one season later. Gruden, quote, going for what he knows, is similar to what NFL owners have told the media when giving reasons why blacks have not been hired for head coach and coordinator roles to anywhere near the rate of their white counterparts. Also, the Raiders have been slow to enthusiastically get on board with involvement in the NFL's minority coaching fellowship program, with one person to date under the Gruden regime, hopefully two, compared to multiple participants with other NFL teams. Some teams have like 8, okay? And this is a program that was started by the late San Francisco 49ers head coach and Stanford head coach Bill Walsh, because he was concerned that there wasn't a proper pipeline so that African Americans get proper instruction on how to be a coach to be able to land jobs in the NFL. At any rate, that's what gave rise to this program, okay? And so while the Raiders and Mark Davis, or whether I should say with the Raiders and Mark Davis, the Rooney Rule has been treated cursorily. And in the case of T. Martin, who was interviewed for Gruden's job, with disrespect. In the case of the former USC offensive coordinator, legendary Tennessee quarterback, and 1998 national champion, that's T. Martin, Mark Davis was recorded as saying he did not see how he could have fired Jack Del Rio if Gruden wasn't available. Quote, I don't see how I could have. To spend $20 million and on top of that, hire T. Martin? No. That's what Mark Davis said. That comment is widely considered to be insulting of T. Martin, who many see as the consummate professional. I will also add that if you actually know football, you know that T. Martin understands line splits and how to use line splits to control defensive spread and create holes to run through better than most coaches. Watch film of his time as USC's offensive coordinator. He coached Sam Darnold. You'll see the Jets should hire T. Martin at least as offensive coordinator, so he can work with T. Martin, right? But I digress again. That's a really burning issue with me. The hiring of Gus Bradley has all the look of how Gruden himself was brought in when Mark Davis finally landed his man in 2018 and after a 6-year quest. The Las Vegas Raiders quickly let it be known they were going to interview Gus Bradley for the DC job. Then, after a few days' time, offered up Dallas Cowboys coach Chris Richard as the black interview. My quote, And before you cough up the name Raheem Morris, hold on a second, the Raiders did not say that an interview was done with him. He was put out there as a possible candidate by the media covering the Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders made it clear they were focused on hiring another one of Gruden's friends in Bradley. So there's a problem here. In The Undefeated, the publication, Susan D. Cart, a professor of law at American University's Washington College of Law, said coaches and executives of color have a case, given how poorly things have trended for a long stretch now. The data suggests something is occurring that's not random. In other words, it's intentional. And what it says the problem is race. When the subject is raised, the nouveau Raider fans out there among you, you like to point to the past. You like to say when Al Davis was alive. We all know that part of history. I know Mr. Davis, or I knew Mr. Davis. But to mention it in this context itself is racist. In other words, you cannot use the Oakland and LA Raiders past as some kind of moral bank and then say that racism debt was paid so we can forget about it now. That's just wrong. What's also wrong is for Jon Gruden, a registered fundraiser and conservative donor for Republicans like Mitt Romney and George Allen, to continue a pattern of coaching hiring that looks like it has the stamp of the John Birch Society. Okay? It also should be noted that Gruden has golfed with President Trump in 2006, I believe, with Mike Tirico, and that's according to Mike Tirico on the Dan Patrick Show, who was part of a foursome with Juan Jaworski. I actually have the video here. Trump even gave Gruden a set of clubs, as Tirico tells the story. So when Gruden says, quote, I got my interest in a certain candidate, but I'm not going to make this job about politics, talking about who he's going to vote for in the last election, right? He says, I respect the tough decision that America has to make, in whichever way America goes. I'll figure out how to get on the same page. You bet. I'll support whoever's in office. And given his track record in golf clubs, Gruden most certainly supported Trump. And he's not the only Oakland, then Las Vegas Raiders head coach to support Trump while working for Mark Davis. Jack Del Rio did too, and he said so on Twitter, rather forcefully, I might add. The existence of what I would call a vast right-wing conspiracy to get white coaches hired is alive and well with the Oakland Raiders. It extends to much of the NFL, and it is even reflected in the media, where black voices or white voices who can see racist actions that would counter this problem are few, but the good news is they're growing in number. It's for those reasons I can't see the Las Vegas Raiders improving much beyond the combined record of 2018, 2019, and 2020. What the Raiders should have done is ask the players and the GM to work to get a defensive coordinator for the team, and then have Gruden work with that person. That's how Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan were paired together. The late George Halas was approached by those players who played for Ryan, and they wanted him to be the Chicago Bears head coach. Halas hired Ditka, and the rest was Super Bowl in NFL history with that record-setting defense. And I know they didn't get along, okay? But their style differences didn't stop Mike Ditka from saying this. Without him, there's no Super Bowl. Talking about what Buddy Ryan did after he passed away. He said, without him, we don't have a Super Bowl. That's what he said, okay? You can't hire the best and the brightest when hiring your friends all white and subjecting blacks to common roles like running backs coach and defensive backfield coach, when those coaches have resumes longer than a number of head coaches that have been hired over the past 3 years. It's clear that Jon Gruden has far more good white friends than black friends among coaches. Look, I like Jon, I really do. So this is a wake-up call for him. He's got to grow with the times, and he's got to do that now. For every white coach Jon Gruden hires, who I hired who's a friend, I'll bet you There's someone black who Jon knows and who would be better. There are too many black folks who get a white person with a title as a friend, like head coach, right? Think that person's going to help them and then wind up disappointed. That's a constant saw. That's got to stop. It's clear that it's happening in the National Football League. It really is. So that's the vlog version of my post. And I look forward to more conversation about this, but it's a conversation that should be had now and as soon as possible. Take care, everybody. See ya.